ensures that, okay, there are no extension will be given for final assessment. So what you should do when you receive the examination, generally I will release 15 minutes before your final assessment started. So ensures that you must prepare your answers and then upload your answers within 5 hours. Okay, right. So in this matter, what are the concern? What are the area you must ensure that, as I mentioned, and also a dummy case study have been given before. Okay, the final assessment also we will use case study approach. Then you have to use what we call as IRAC method where it's suitable. Okay, not all the question, not all the issue must be presented using IRAC model. Okay, please having a clear understanding, okay, where you should use the IRAC model, where you have to ignore, you have straight away what we call as in term of preparing your final assessment answers. Okay, let's take a look what are the area. Okay, the essential matter. Okay, this is one of the important skill is term of mastering the statutory timeline. Okay, because in order to avoid losing your mark apart from identifying the correct legal issue, but if the question asking you in term of submission the necessary document or the statutory document, so you have to apply 14, 21, 30, 60 rule. This is the key statutory deadline, particularly when it relates with the following section. This is the section you have to mastering. Okay, right. For example, when the question asking you in term of shares allotment, okay, shares allotment is one of the necessary thing for your final assessment. So the time frame, the submissions of the document must be completed within 14 days. Okay, the same goes to when you are changing directors or secretary. Okay, right. And then don't ignore the important point here. What are the consequences when company secretary in these questions fail to do their role? Okay, right. So this is what I compile all the necessary, all the important statutory date and the statutory time frame in terms of submission, in terms of notifying, related to the auditors, financial statement, written notice for AGM, okay, and then what are the statutory period for registrations of charges, and then vacancy where the position of company secretary cannot be left empty, and then this is the requirement by the section. Okay, right. Along the way, okay, in terms of circulating financial statement, it have to be done within 6 months. Okay, this is the deadline where this deadline is very important and going to be tested in your final assessment as well. So I also provide you a formula that can assist you, okay, related with company statutory period, particularly for submissions the document to SSM. Okay, right. And number 2 is on shares allotment and the director's power or director's role. Okay, right. In this topic, the important section you have to remember is section 75, 76, and 78. All these section we have discussed in our class as well. So for each section, okay, I put a important point where you have to write down in order to explain the main content of the section. Okay, right. This is the common thread. Okay, for example, the common examination trap when the questions been put one of the category for directors. For example, is managing directors. Okay, why you must understand who is the managing directors. Managing directors is a person who are engaging in daily business operation. Okay, right. This is a person where we call as managing directors. And what are their authority? What are the power? Okay, but in terms of power for managing directors, so it depends on the Companies Act, but at the same time, in some cases, they also extend the authority within their constitution. Okay, so what are the procedure when we discuss on shares allotment? Okay, and then since based on the case study that been discussed, once the member approve the shares allotment, okay, what the company secretary should do, he or she must complete the statutory requirement according to section 78. For how long? 14 days. Update the necessary record, then issue share certificate. But share certificate is not mandatory. It depends on the request from the member. Okay, what are the implications, consequences? There in some question, they also use the word legal implication or legal consequences. If director issue share without approval by shareholders, so the consequences can be divided into 3. The first is the shares allotment may be voidable. Directors may face personal liability, and the third is they are breaching their statutory duty. Okay, this is based on the cases example. Okay, for example, in your in the previous discussion, we discuss on LA and B, for example. So whatever name, okay. So this is among the example what have been discussed before. Okay, particularly, for example, okay, it could be used any name. Generally, I would say I will silent the name. Okay, for example, in that case study, okay, the directors issue million of shares to private investor. It could be institutions investor. Okay, right. It doesn't matter who they are, institutional or private investor. Okay, so they are following the same approach. They must obtain approval then using ordinary resolution. Okay, right. So what the managing director should do, the managing director of any company, they are going to justify their decision, but this justification legally incorrect. Why? Even though whatever justification that have been informed by managing director, they are not complying with what we call as in terms of power of approval lies in the hand of shareholders. Okay, right. So this is how you how you should prepare your answers. Okay, right. This is the tip also given. Then in that case also, it will discuss on share transmission and share transfer. Okay, for both, either share transmission and share transfer, we will use section 106, 107, and 109. This is the relevant section, because you must having a clear understanding between share transmission and share transfer. They are not carry equal meaning. So what you should do, you must able to distinguish clearly what is the share transmission, what is the share transfer. Okay, this is what it means with share transmission. Generally is because of the law. Among the event is death of the shareholder or bankruptcy or insolvency. Okay, this is the requirement to transmit the share in the case of death. Okay, share transfer, okay, must be conducted using legal document. Among the legal document is grant of probate or letter of administration. Okay, ini adalah dokumen rasmi. Okay, and then if a company, if appointed personal representative, so that appointment must be done in writing. Okay, right. Without proper writing and supporting legal document, the company, they have no right for a company to update the name in statutory book. Okay, what are the board power? The board cannot refuse when there is a valid transmission. Okay, right. While for share transfer is a voluntary. For example, is uh, sold the share or transfer between among the family member. Okay, all right. So what are the power of the board? Are they entitled to reject a transfer? Okay, board can refuse or reject the transfer if company constitutions grant to the board with a power to refuse. And that refusal has a basis, or they are having a valid ground or valid reason. This is among the example. And also, they need to 30 days notice. Okay, when the board is given a power to refuse and they are also having a valid reason, board they must issue notice of refusal within 30 days. And in the notice, they must clearly mention what are the reason for rejection or for refusal. Okay. And the third is the transferee also can apply through the court. Okay, a transferee can use the court order if the board refuse to register them or to proceed them. If the transferee feel there is unlawful reason or oppressive or without just cause, without any cause. Okay, and then the court may order the company to register. So the court order will override the board decision. This is another common mistake. Okay, is confusing between transmission and transfer. Okay, number 2 is attempt the transfer being conducted before completing transmission. Okay, such as you can refer with the what we call as, you can refer the existing case study. And the third is board reject a valid transmission. This is among the matter. This is incorrect. Okay, right. So I put a comparison in table within transmission and transfer. This is the tip. Okay, what you should remember. In terms of auditor's resignation, auditor resignation is one of the example for casual vacancy. Okay, right. Casual vacancy also can lead by death or bankruptcy. Okay, right. This is what we call as casual vacancy. So, when the auditors resign, the first resignation can be proceed with a written notice by the auditor. So auditor must tender their resignation with a written notice. And this resignation will not immediately enforce. It become effective after 21 days from the notice of resignation that have been tendered. Why they need 21 days? This is a period given for a company to taking necessary action, for example, to appoint another auditor. Okay, right. So then this resignation also must support with statement. It means that the resigned auditor is required to submit statement of circumstances to Company Commission of Malaysia or registrar. Okay, why? The purpose is to inform SSM, okay, what are the reasons of resignation, particularly when they are having issues or disagreement of concern. Okay, for casual vacancy, okay, it means that this is the right for auditors to leave that position before expiry of term. Casual vacancy, apart from resignation, it could be by death, or auditors is under incapacity, or for example, mental incapacity or disqualification. Okay, right. So what are the role by the board? One, the auditors, for example, resign. The board, okay, must ensure that the board must call for meeting to appoint new auditor. And the auditor must be completed within 30 days. If the board fail to appoint auditors within the statutory period, 30 days, so the registrar, they have a power to appoint on behalf of a company. Okay, right. This is the comparisons between normal appointment and casual vacancy. The next is circulation of financial statement and AGM. So for this matter, so you have to take a look the 3 section. Okay, right. Section 258 is about circulation of the financial statement must be done after the 6 months. Okay, mean the audit must be completed within the 6 months from accounting closing date. Okay, under the section 258 also, the director must make sure the financial statement have been audited. Then submit or send to members. And the financial statement must be circulated 6 months. Okay, from accounting closing date. And each member receive the document, because this financial statement will be tabled at the AGM. Therefore, every member must receive, okay, not later than 21 days before AGM. Okay, in terms of submission with registrar, after the AGM, company is required to submit the financial statement and report any document within the statutory period. This is the requirement. Okay. While section 350 is about annual general meeting. Okay, and then at the AGM, okay, right, member can receive and discuss. This is the time for them to question, for example, to ask, to verify the audited financial statement, including raise any concern on performance. This is their right as a shareholders. Okay, right. AGM notice. For AGM, all the member must receive a notice at least 21 days. But please bear in mind, short notice is allowed, but they need to, for example, if a public company, they need 90%, but for private, 95% of the members agree. For short notice, I compare between section 258 and also 340. Okay, right. For non-compliant by multiple other breach, for example, no auditor. The issue if no auditor, so therefore the company cannot complete the audited. This is the consequences. When there is no audited financial statement, so the company is treated not comply with requirement for section 258. This is one issue. Another issue is when there is no audited financial statement, company cannot circulate financial statement. So therefore, one company cannot circulate the financial statement, the company cannot convene for AGM. Okay, and failure to hold AGM, what is the consequences? The company and directors subject to penalty, for example. This is what we call as multiple issue and multiple consequences. So what are the remedy available to the members? If the company fail to hold AGM, a member, they have a right to apply to SSM or apply to High Court. There is two options can be done by the member. Okay, to ensure that company call for AGM. Okay, right. Then whatever it is, whatever issue in a company, it relate with director's duty and what the consequences. Okay, because please bear in mind, director play a big role in terms of complying with statutory obligation. Okay, so when the company, this is when we way back to case scenario, so we will see under which condition director will become liable. Okay, when they fail to exercise their power or abandon their governance responsibility. Okay, this is the duty. Okay, for example, related to illegally shares allotment. Okay, right. The director, in that cases, the director allotted 1 million without permission. So this is the consequences as I mentioned just now. And among the consequences from the perspective of director is they are breaching their core duty. Number 2 is duty to exercise at reasonable care with their skill and diligence. This is another. This is more obvious when they are failed to register when the charges created. Because in that, the director, in that case, the director failed to register of charges because of they are administrative oversight. There are no reason, there are no excuses. Okay, because they are failed to comply with section in the company constitution. So what are the consequences? This is the 3 consequences. Okay, right. Failure to maintain. Okay, another matter is failure to having a qualified company secretary. For example, in that case, okay, in that case, let's say the company secretary provision is not occupied within 30 days. They are still vacant up to 45 days. This is exceeding the statutory period or statutory time frame. So the consequences, company will be committed to statutory offence. Director is personally responsible and the failure may result in additional cost of compliance. Okay, right. Failure to ensure comply with the financial reporting. This is, okay, right. And the third is, for directors, they are responsible to act for the best interest of a company. Among the example is allowing the company, because why they are breached based on the case study, they miss AGM, to hold AGM, fail to circulate financial statement, ignore statutory filing, and the important is they are ignore the important position to be filled within the statutory time. Okay, right. So then the remedy given to the shareholders. For example, the first is if the company failed to hold AGM, member can apply to SSM and also to apply to High Court in order to ensure that AGM must be held within the statutory time frame. Okay. This remedy, this what we call as this advantage is given to a member. Okay, right. And whether member can challenge, for example, particularly related to unlawful refusal or share transfer. So they can use the court to challenge, okay, for unlawful to include, to update their name in the register of members using the court, because the court They have authority to review the board decision, to override, and to order. Okay. And for shares allotment, the minority shareholder, they can challenge without, okay, where the shares allotment have been allotted without shareholders approval. So since this is what happened, so allotment, the shares allotment is voidable. It's not valid. Okay. So what is the consequences for the directors? Directors is required to compensate company and also affected party if they are having or experience a loss. Okay. Number 4 is legal action. This is among the failure by director that may give rise for legal action because of governance failure. Okay, right. And then for for the next one is corporate governance recovery measure, because this is what they need is to restore members or shareholders confidence. Okay, in the case study given, okay, the company experienced multiple corporate failure. So what the Companies Act, okay, do or allow to do is, in order to gain shareholders confidence and compliance, so that remedy, that restoration is lies under the board of director. So what they can do is restore corporate gatekeeper, particularly the gatekeeper. The role of gatekeeper generally can be managed by company secretary and external auditor. So therefore, what they can do is appoint qualified within the statutory period, filling the casual vacancy as soon as possible, and restore the financial transparency and reporting compliance. Okay, right. And then call for AGM, because AGM only be done once a year. And at the AGM, it allows for members to question, to discuss. This is one of their voting right. Okay, right. Respect shareholders' right and corporate decision making. They need to ensure proper approval for shares allotment, share transfer, and also shares transmit. For corporate charges, profile manage for corporate charges. This is related to using company asset to secure for any loan. Ensure fair treatment. Okay, they cannot simply refuse, okay, without any reason, and facilitate valid share transmission. What they can do is strengthening directors' compliance by accounted their core duty. The core duty, this is exercise their duty with full care, within their skill and diligence, and whatever decision have been made must be for the best interest of a company. Okay, this is among the matter. This is how, okay, as I mentioned just now, not all the question fit for IRAC model. So please choose, please ensure that you are really understand in order to apply the IRAC. For example, when the case study asking about the issue, then we are connecting with the requirement of the rule. Then we will discuss in terms of application. Is it consistent or inconsistent with the law requirement? Then what is the conclusion? The conclusion generally is we are talking about um, we will conclude, and at the same time we will propose what the company should do. Okay, right. This is among the matter you have to what we call you have to take a look. Okay, right. So this is the checklist. So this is a kind of same what we call as summarization. Okay, so this is the topic that we are going to what we call they are going to test in your final assessment. So I hope this note will help you in terms of preparing a good answers in order to avoid losing mark. Okay, right. So I also put some trap where you have to this is the matter you should concern. Okay, right. So anything else? Any questions you need to you have to asking? This is the end of our comprehensive final examination. So what you should do, please take a look the case given and try to align with this information and how to prepare your answers. Okay, right. Now I open for question if any. Yes, Shah.
Doctor, I would like to ask. So on six we will have our exam. So when we will start our exam, doctor? The timing?
The question will be allow for access on that day 15 minutes before.
Oh,
15 minutes before the final assessment started. Let's
because
say if your exam start at 2 p.m. so 1:45 the question will be released.
okay, doctor. Because some of the exam it's stated at 12 o'clock, but later I will check again, doctor.
Yeah. At this moment, because BHEA they missed the information that they put this paper as final examination. Actually, we already informed them this is not examination. This is a final assessment. But according to BHEA procedure, um, on the first day of the final exam, we are supposed to upload the case study, but I'm not going to upload on that the first day because we only given 5 hours. So it's a kind of final examination as well, but we are given extended in term of time. Okay,
Okay, doctor. Doctor, how
right.
many questions we will be tested in?
Only one question, but uh, there are 10 issues you have to exclude, you have to extract. there is one comprehensive case study, then what you should do is, but don't worry, this is a guided case study. So for each issue, we will asking you in terms of question what you should do. So don't worry, it's not necessary for you to track the issues, but it will be guided using question. 10 questions.
Okay, doctor.
All right. Anything else? Anything else? If there are no questions, so I'm still in the office after the week 14. But if you need more classes, so I will open for discussion online. Okay, so you have to make sure to type me a message early if you need a discussion in terms of preparing a question, in terms of preparing, in terms of to confirming, is it whether your question is right or not. Okay, so I'm still in my office, but I only open for discussion, okay, on what we call as on that particular time. For example, if your class on Thursday, if I'm not invigilate the exam, I will open for discussion until the day of your final assessment. Okay? But for final assessment, there are what we call there are some we will take a precaution in terms of to avoid student, what we call as, in order to avoid the student from using AI. So we will I will explain later. For example, every student you have to since you are required to prepare your answers using Microsoft Word, so every student must ensure that you must stay in front of your computer with open your camera for 5 hours. Okay, so I will explain it later. Okay, right. Anything else? The way on how we conduct the final assessment will be detailed later. At this moment, I need to confirm whether the BHEA stick on 6 or they propose other date. Okay? Right. If there are no questions, so we end our discussion. Please ensure that all the assignment have been updated. So I will close by tomorrow. Okay, any update in your Google Drive must be completed by tomorrow. Okay, right. So anything else? Okay, if there are no questions, so I wish you good luck. And if you need more assistance in terms of clarification to confirm whether your answers is correct or for discussion, so just let me know. I will open during the class period only. Okay, right. So that's it. So next week there are no class. This week is our last class. And then at the same time, I will update. I will give you a more information, more in term of notes. Okay, I will update all the notes, and then I will notify in our group as well. Okay, right. That's I end the class. See you on that particular day lah. All right. So that's it. Thank you very much, and don't forget to update your attendance for this week and next week as well.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right, most
Yeah,
welcome.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Doctor.
Doctor.
Okay.